Red, orange, yellow, those are the colors of fall. And today's recipe is inspired by that color palette. I'm Dr. Joanette, your longevity expert, creator of the Longevity Switch, and a Blue Zone native. In today's recipe, we are cooking up that butternut soup and adding a couple of healthy longevity superfoods to it: turmeric and cinnamon. So let's go ahead and get cooking. To get started, we are going to start by roasting up our butternut squash. I've cubed about 2 cups of butternut squash. This would be about half of a large butternut squash or about 1 small butternut squash. And I'm just adding some olive oil to that. What you want to do is you want to kind of get it caramelized before you add it to the soup pot. It just brings out the sweetness, brings out the flavor, and it just intensifies that deliciousness of the soup. And I'm going to just put a couple of pinches of some Himalayan pink sea salt in it, and it is just ready to roast. Let's get it on a baking sheet here, and we're going to roast it at 425 for we'll check it out about 15 minutes and see. You just want it to start to get caramelized and nice and soft. And next, we're going to go ahead and brown up some sausage. I have some Italian sausage. You could use chicken sausage, whatever your favorite sausage is. Even plant-based sausage works great. So if you want this to be a vegan or a plant-based recipe, go ahead and just use your favorite plant-based sausage, Beyond sausage or something like that. And I'm using an induction burner to cook up the sausage and a cast iron skillet. For everything that you see in this video today, if you scroll down to the links below, you will be able to find a link out to where you can purchase them. I get a small commission and it doesn't cost you any extra. So thank you for supporting this video, for supporting this channel by purchasing what you see in the video today, if it's something that you really like and want to try. I'm going to turn that burner on and get our sausage cooking. I like to make little meatballs. You could just do crumbles. You could do bigger pieces if you want, whatever you like. I think just little sausage meatballs are kind of fun. All I do is just cut up the Italian sausage and roll it into little balls. I don't add anything extra to it. It's just the sausage links that have been cut up. I use the spicy ones. You can use either the spicy or the mild, whichever you like. The recipe calls for cayenne pepper. I leave the cayenne pepper out and it's in the sausage. That's the way Farmer Fred likes it. And I didn't add any oil to the cast iron skillet. There's enough fat in the sausage that usually doesn't need any extra oil. Now that our sausage is nice and browned, I'm going to go ahead and put it aside in a little container, and we'll be adding it back in at the very end. And let's get that out of the way so we can get the soup cooking. We're going to start by sauteing up onions and garlic. Add a little olive oil to the bottom of our kettle. You could use ghee if you want instead of olive oil. And our onions, we're going to saute them a bit till they're nice and translucent. Once our onions start to get translucent, let's add the garlic in. That was a medium onion and 3 cloves of garlic, and our aromatics. We're going to add our turmeric. Turmeric is got 5 antis and 5 pros is how I think of it when I think of loud health. It's anti-inflammatory, anti-pain, anti-cancer, anti-poor digestion, and antibacterial and antiviral. It's pro gut, it's good for your gut, it's good for your immune system, it's good for your memory, good for your focus, or pro-memory, pro-focus. And that was some cinnamon, some ginger, and some salt. And we're sauteing them until they're nice and release their flavors a little bit. And then we are going to add in 3 cups of homemade vegetable broth. If you don't have homemade vegetable broth, you can just use store-bought vegetable broth if you're making it vegan or vegetarian. Or if you want for a little more flavor and you're not vegan or vegetarian, go ahead and add in some chicken broth. Let that heat up a bit. And I'm also adding in a couple of cups of cauliflower. I'm replacing some of the butternut squash with cauliflower. To help make this a low-carb recipe, I add half cauliflower and half butternut squash. If you're not low carb, go ahead and add 4 cups of butternut squash instead of 2 cups of butternut and 2 cups of cauliflower. We'll let that heat, and we're gonna simmer it for probably about 8 to 10 minutes until the cauliflower is nice and soft. The butternut squash is nicely caramelized and roasted, so I'm gonna go ahead, even though the cauliflower isn't quite soft, let's go ahead and add it to our soup and let it cook in with the soup for probably about another 5 minutes. If this video has been informative so far, thank you for clicking that like button as well as subscribing. This helps me continue to bring you these healthy longevity recipes. Now that our soup is nicely cooked, the cauliflower is soft, the butternut squash is nice and soft, I am going to use an immersion blender. We are going to use an immersion blender and we are going to blend the soup. You can also blend it in a regular blender. That looks nicely blended. Whichever way you want to do it, the soup is hot, so be careful. You want to make sure that the immersion blender stays underneath the liquid, because if it isn't underneath the liquid of your soup, it's going to splatter all over the place. Now it's time to add back in that sausage, and we're going to let it heat up just a little bit more so that sausage gets nicely heated through, and it will be ready to serve and try. Now that the meatballs, the sausage meatballs are hot, I'm going to go ahead and add in some coconut cream as well. About 1.25 cups. I'm saving a little bit of it left to drizzle on top of the soup. I'm going to stir that in, and I want to just freshen it with a little squeeze of lime juice. Or you could use lemon, just a little bit. Maybe a tablespoon or so, not a lot. Stir that in. It's ready to serve. And let's give it a little garnish. We'll put a little swirl of the coconut cream, a few pumpkin seeds, and you could use a few brown sausage bits, or I happen to have a little bit of bacon that was left over from bacon BLTs, and so I'm going to add a few crumbles of the bacon on top of the soup here. And it is ready to enjoy. Let's give it a try. Delicious, creamy, flavorful. Love that little bit of lime we added at the end, the little crispiness or crunchiness of the pumpkin seeds. It just all comes together in a wonderful fall, hearty, delicious, healthy soup. I ate a cup of this delicious butternut soup, and then I looked at the graph from my continuous glucose monitor. Using my continuous glucose monitor, I ate 1 cup of cinnamon turmeric butternut squash soup. My blood sugar started out at 83. 1 hour later, it peaked at about 105 and then rapidly returned to my baseline an hour after that of 78. This graph is what you would normally expect after eating a keto-friendly soup. Thank you for joining me today. And when you go to my website, growwithdrjoanette.com, you'll be able to get the full recipe as well as many other additional fall recipes that feature those fall colors of red, orange, and yellow. Remember, the red, orange, and yellow fruits and vegetables have lots of antioxidants and are so good for your brain, for your body, for your immune system, and for your healthy longevity. We'll see you next time on the Dr. Joanette channel.